The first time I saw the water ripple under my daughter's frantic screams, my heart froze. The lake had always been a place of serenity, a haven where families picnicked and children played, but that day it became a stage for cruelty. My daughter, Emily, was struggling, her hands flailing in the water, as if the lake itself had turned against her, and standing on the shore were the very people who had caused this horror. Her husband's family. They had pushed her in, a cruel joke born from jealousy, misunderstanding, and a lifetime of resentment I had never known could fester in them. I had always trusted my daughter's judgment, believing she had married a kind man. But his family, they were a different story. From the beginning, they had never accepted her. They whispered behind her back, dismissed her opinions, and treated her as though she were an intruder in their family, an outsider who didn't belong. I had hoped my presence would protect her, but I never imagined the depth of their malice. Just as I was about to dive in after her, shadow moved with terrifying precision. It was my brother David. Strong, decisive, and unyielding. He had been visiting that weekend and happened to witness the entire ordeal. Without a word, he waded into the lake. The sight of him, the older brother I had always admired for his calm yet commanding presence, instilled an unexpected courage in me. In mere seconds, he reached Emily, pulling her from the water with an iron grip that seemed to push back the panic entirely. The aftermath was chaotic. Emily shivered in shock, wrapped in blankets, while the family of my son-in-law stood frozen, their expressions a mix of disbelief and guilt. No one had anticipated that a quiet man like David could act with such decisiveness, and in that moment, the balance of power had shifted. Yet, even amid the anger and tension, my focus was solely on my daughter. She was safe, and that was the only truth that mattered. In the following weeks, we faced challenges that went beyond the lake. Emily struggled with nightmares, anxiety, and the painful realization that her husband's family had crossed every boundary of decency. Her trust in people was shaken, and it was heartbreaking to see the light in her eyes dim. But David became her rock. He encouraged her to speak, to reclaim her confidence, and most importantly, to confront her fears instead of hiding from them. Together, sought counseling and surrounded Emily with friends and family who nurtured her, helping her rebuild a sense of safety that had been violently ripped away. The confrontation with her husband's family was another challenge entirely. They tried to justify their actions, blaming misunderstandings and old grievances, but David's unwavering presence made it clear that manipulation would not work. With courage born from the terrifying ordeal, Emily spoke with clarity and strength I hadn't seen before. She told them how their actions had nearly cost her life, how the emotional scars ran deeper than the physical fear, and how she refused to be intimidated ever again. They left without words, confronted not with vengeance, but with dignity and unshakable courage. Months passed, and Emily slowly found her voice again. She returned to the lake, the very place that had once been a site of terror, but this time she walked confidently along the shore. It was symbolic, a reclaiming of her peace and agency. David remained by her side, a constant reminder that love and loyalty could counter even the darkest of intentions. And as for her husband, he began to see the consequences of blind family loyalty, realizing that love was not defined by the voices of others, but by the choices we make ourselves. By the end, what had begun as a moment of terror transformed into a story of resilience. Emily had learned that strength was not the absence of fear, the courage to face it. My family had discovered that unity and love could overcome deceit and cruelty. And David, the quiet hero who had acted without hesitation, reminded us all that sometimes the presence of one steadfast person can change the course of an entire life. The lake, once a symbol of danger, had become a symbol of triumph. It stood as a reminder that even when pushed into the depths, with the right support, we could rise stronger than ever. Emily's story became more than just a tale of survival. It became a lesson in courage, family loyalty, and the power of standing up for what is right, no matter how impossible it may seem. And in the end, as I watched my daughter laugh freely again, splashing water with the same carefree joy she had before, I understood something profound. The darkest moments could forge the brightest courage, and love, unshakable and fierce, was always the ultimate savior.